Doggies fans, all things Bulldogs, Buzz Rothfield and his agenda against Gus Gould, although he's only doing his job. I'm just going to put my spin on what he said. He's collated a lot of different stories to essentially provide a headline, which again highlights this rhetoric that he's creating, that Gus wastes money and all this stuff. But there's some other political agendas in there as well, and Buzz loves to create a bit of instability, but he's not really succeeding. The Dogs fans are almost immune now to Buzz Rothfield. He's one of the you mention his name in the Dogs area and he's just got no credibility whatsoever amongst the Bulldogs fans and across many fans in the game. As he gets closer to retirement, it seems he's getting worse, not better, at reading the room. Anyway, so let's talk about some of the things he said. So he's alluded to all this supposed waste and unsustainable spending by the Bulldogs, suggesting that the club itself had to, the league's club had to hand out over $5 million in cash for last year's expenses and all that sort of stuff. Talking about the sacking of Trent Barrett, the transfer of young Carl Olapau, who obviously, there's a reported figure there of $500,000 trans fee or bounty for his services. Now, Buzz may think he knows that, or he may know the amount, but I can guarantee you, I can't guarantee you anything, but in my opinion, it wasn't 500. It would have been less. That's all about saving face, which clubs are all about, especially one who's owned by a media organisation who funds the game, such as the Broncos. So, Buzz has some political agendas there. He's mentioning the new situation with pokies and the cards and all that sort of stuff that'll replace cash and that sort of stuff, which is going to potentially reduce the amount of money that that clubs can make from their poker machines, which is also speculation. He is obviously an advocate for the News Corp, and obviously they have people who advertise through their mastheads, through their business, who would prefer that certain laws and measures that are going through, which could reduce the amount of money spent by the average Australian on poker machines, potentially would be bad for their business. So wherever he can link a storyline where the Dogs need to save money and not waste it due to the fact they're going to have less money in their coffers due to this political issue, that they need to rein in Gus Gould, essentially. And then he goes on the radio and speaks about how he's, how he's not trying to offend anyone and yada yada yada. He wasn't attacking Gus. He's more warning the Bulldogs and trying to be everyone's friend, when really all he's out there to do is to feed the people. So Gus has more haters than likers, but at the same time more people respect what he's done in the game than disrespect it, and that's a fact. But in Bulldog land, Gus has a few detractors for sure, but the vast majority are very happy that he's on board, whether they like him or as a commentator, or like his opinions or not. And there's a lot of positivity around the Bulldogs at the moment, sponsorships and the like. It's all happy and moving forward at the moment. There's so much buzz around the club, as there has been in the last few years. It's been building. Gus coming back has really helped with that, and lots of positive signings. The pathways that have been created, they're all going to cost money. There's people that are going to have contracts that need to be moved on. There's all sorts of things that are going to have to happen. There's all sorts of investments. When you're a blue chip club that's always had money and you're on the bottom, you need to invest your way out of it. It's not going to happen. Like, the fans can talk about investing in the juniors, which I've also said it from time to time. But at the same time, if those juniors are replacing people that aren't setting the benchmark, it's really hard for them to go to an extra level above that. It's hard. We read a lot into natural ability, but a lot of these athletes, there's not much between the worst and the best. It all comes down to a bit of luck. It comes down to a big game of chess about having the right players and the right strike in the right areas at the right time. And people tell you that rugby league, it is all about timing. Ask players that, that may have missed an opportunity or got a little injury, and that was the last time we saw them in first grade because someone come and took their spot. So getting back to it, the Bulldogs have always been a rich club, have always relied on their leagues club. All those transactions have put forward to the auditors and stuff. They've a club that's tried to pioneer change and tried to expand their horizons, and failed on a few occasions too. They went to the Sydney Bulldogs, they dropped the Canterbury Bankstown name for a while, they looked at the Stardome project where they were going to unite with the basketball team there, and all things were going ahead, and then that failed. They went to Super League. The club's tried in different ways to advance itself, and now it's come back to its grassroots, and it's essentially going to build itself based off the footy and the kids wanting to represent the blue and white from within the Canterbury area and Australia-wide. The pathways that feed into it, having kids wake up in Bundaberg saying they want to play for the Canterbury Bankstown Bulldogs, because that's what's going to start to happen. In Toowoomba, the same thing. There'll be plenty of most of the Toowoomba fans will support the Broncos and other sides, but that's right now. But eventually there'll be kids who'll be aspiring to play for the blue and white, and there'll be someone from Toowoomba who comes into the Canterbury system who will be an absolute star. And that's what it's all about. You've got the North Coast Bulldogs, you've got all these other clubs that link into it, and the club has to spend money to do that. So there's no drama. They're going to address some of this in the annual general meeting, so that was a message that's come through on various Facebook pages. But from my opinion, from what I'm seeing all over the pages, most people couldn't give two shits about what Buzz Rothfield said. He's just getting slaughtered by Bulldogs fans. And it's still going to create clicks on his articles, which is, at the end of the day, they don't care if people hate them or love them. It's all about creating a headline that generates interest for their advertisers. He's successfully done that again. Whether he comes out looking like an idiot or not, that's another thing. But all the best to Buzz. I think he does his job really well, and his job is to create clicks and interest in his articles, even if it makes him look like a bit of a tosser. So well done, Buzz. You look like a bit of a tosser, but don't we all at times? Don't take that to heart. Not that he'll ever read this or hear this, but for Doggies fans, just ignore him. He's he's pretty irrelevant. It's just clickbait. It was a lazy story at the end of the day. It was just a story that he's just collated a whole bunch of headlines so he could pile more shit on our club and more shit on the Bulldogs, even though he will bleed till he's blue in the face that that wasn't his intention, that he was just thinking about the long-term interests of our great club, which he would say. Because remember, Buzz is a rugby league lover ahead of anything else. He's a Sharks lover, and he loves the organisation he works for, from what I can tell, because he does a good job for that company. Anyway, guys, remember that money feeds back to the players that Buzz generates through his crap. So there's a good story in the end of the sort of, there's a pot of gold at the end of the rainbow, is it? I don't know how to fucking say it, but go the Dogs, and thanks everyone again.